You've probably seen this quote in many Twitter tweets as well as forums you're a member of. It is, after all, one of the standard picture quotes people throw out there when they feel readers need to be encouraged or motivated to rise up from some sort of setback. But there's a lot going on with this quote that is attributed to Confucius. It's anybody's guess whether the famous ancient Chinese philosopher actually said these words. Still, this quote is in keeping with a lot of his philosophy. It was relevant then, and it is definitely relevant in our day and age. For a quick rundown on what this quote means, let's break it down piece by piece. The full quote is: Our greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising every time we fall. Let's start from the beginning. Our greatest glory refers to things that we are most proud of or that bring us the most honor or recognition. This can also refer to a point in our lives where we are able to achieve certain things despite the fact that we thought we could never get there, or there were so many things going against us. The next part is not in never falling or not in never failing. This suggests that it's not possible, desirable to never make mistakes or face challenges. This should be self-explanatory because the truth is, this doesn't have to be said. Failure is part of the human condition. Things have a way of not falling into place or proceeding as planned. As the old saying goes, life is what happens when you're making other plans. Unfortunately, so many of us start our projects or enter into relationships with some sort of unrealistic mindset. Part of us assumes that things will just go smoothly. A lot of us even believe that we're entitled to things going smoothly. As you probably already know, it almost never happens. There will be challenges. There is no such thing as an error proof or failure proof situation. We will face setbacks and challenges. The next part is, but in rising every time we fall. This is the key to the quote. Instead of coming into situations hoping and wishing that everything will fall into place and your best expectations will manifest themselves, it's much better to just go in there and do your best with the expectation that if things do go south, and they often do, you will rise up again. In fact, if you go through this more than a few times, your mindset will shift. You're no longer thinking of whether I fall or not, but when I fail. And when that happens, your focus will be more on the speed at which you get up. If this sounds like theory to you, just think back to the first time you were at work or the first time you were at school. Chances are when you're doing your stuff, the first few times things didn't go as planned. Maybe you turned in the wrong kind of work, or you just botched it up. But as you try and try again and make mistakes again and again, things get better. And pretty soon you start connecting the dots and you're able to make things happen sooner, better, bigger, brighter. That's how it works. So instead of assuming that failure is just around the corner and there's really not much you can do about it, and allowing your fear to get the better of you, get out there, do the best you can, and learn from your mistakes. Resolve to bounce back faster each and every time you fall. And before you know it, you don't even notice it. And you achieve a state of momentum until you become a master at whatever it is you're doing. Which brings me to the key point of this quote. It suggests that the true measure of success is not the absence of failure, but rather the ability to overcome and learn from it. This is the key. This is the part of the learning process that nobody can take away from you. In fact, if you apply to jobs or if you're looking for a promotion, this is what you are measured by. Because we all have potential, but at the end of the day, it all boils down to our ability to make things happen. And you can only demonstrate that through sheer experience. This is why it's really important to keep coming back to this quote if you want to develop a growth mindset. Because if you do, you will start looking at your challenges as opportunities for learning and improvement instead of threats to your ego. When you get knocked down, it no longer feels like it hurts. Instead, it feels part of this larger picture in which you mature and grow up. And when you do that, your mindset regarding adversity starts to change. You start seeing it as part of this complete process that you have to go through. You start out with very few skills. You start out with all the wrong expectations and all the wrong ideas, much like a baby going on a journey. But if you allow yourself to have a growth mindset where you look at adversity and setbacks and threats as opportunities, you start to turn things around, and before you know it, you start to emotionally master the process. Make no mistake, failures will always be there. There's always a threat of disaster, disappointment, or what have you. That's not going to go away anytime soon. What can go away is our negative attitudes regarding the process of becoming. So if you focus on the process that you go through and the right mindset that you need to adopt and letting the journey change you for the better, you will always come out ahead.